Hi guys, and welcome back to the Nordic Watch channel. I'm Anders from Finland, and today I'll be sharing my thoughts about the Orient Bambino Small Seconds with you. This watch model pretty much needs no introduction, since the model is one of the most discussed and advertised in the YouTube watch world, as well as the best-selling Orient dress watch up to this day. The Orient Bambinos have been around for a long time and are always in the mix when it comes to recommendations for great entry-level automatic watches. I've reviewed Orient Bambino on this channel before, but that was the 36mm version, so check out that review if you are interested. I'll put a link up in the corner there. Now, I've been somewhat vocal about my opinion on the classic Orient Bambino. I think the watch has a lot of good things going for it, but it also has a bunch of things I don't like. So stick around to hear all the positives and negatives, and also to see how the watch looks on a few strap alternatives and how the size of it compares to a few other watch models towards the end of this video. First things first, this watch is affordable, there's no denying that. If you were to go buy it off of Amazon by the time of filming this video, it will set you back under $150. On the European Amazon sites, the price is a bit over 150 euros, but well under 200 still. If you do decide to get one and you want to help me and my channel out, I've included some affiliate links down in the description that will earn me a commission from any purchase you make. That would be really appreciated, thank you. There are 5 different color variations to this watch. This one is the champagne dial with the steel case. Then there's also a steel case version with a black dial and a white dial, and the white dial also comes on either a rose gold colored or yellow gold colored case. The dimensions of this watch are my first gripe. The diameter is 40.5 millimeters, which is quite a bit for a classy dress watch like this one. The other dimensions are more suitable though. The thickness is 12.5 millimeters with this heavily domed crystal, but the lug-to-lug distance is a very modest 46 millimeters, which I like. The watch does have the infamous 21mm lug width, which doesn't do it any favors. On the stock leather strap, the watch weighs a very subtle 56 grams, which makes it comfortable and quite unnoticeable on wrist, which is just what you want with a dress watch like this. The finishing on the case is pretty basic. I do really like that the sides of the case are brushed as opposed to the typical polishing on many dress watches. That means you won't be having as hard a time to keep this watch smudge free as you would with a completely polished case. The bezel as well as the top of the lugs are polished to still maintain that dressier feel. The watch has a polished see-through case back showcasing the caliber F6222 automatic movement. The case back is only a press-on case back, and the watch only has a minimal water resistance of 30 meters. So enough that you don't have to worry about wearing it on a rainy day. The in-house F6222 movement comes with hacking and hand winding and a power reserve of around 40 hours. A pretty basic movement comparable to the Seiko 4R35 for example. The crown has 3 positions. First one is for the winding, second one is for setting the date, and the third one for setting the time. The crown itself does have Orient branding on it, which is a nice detail in this price category. These Orient Bambinos come on this 21mm wide genuine leather strap. It's this kind of crocodile looking leather, but it's obviously something like calf as these usually are. And do note that genuine leather is the lowest grade of quality for real leather. The strap is alright for this price however, and it does have an Orient signed buckle and some nice tapering down to that buckle. The crystal is a heavily domed hardened mineral crystal, so no surprise at this price and shape that it isn't a sapphire crystal. Can't have it all for $150 of course. I really like how that substantial curving makes the watch look and feel more like a vintage dress watch, and that design is further enhanced by the 12, 3, 6 and 9 Arabic numerals and the small seconds subdial in my opinion. Zooming closer in on that dial, we have a nice subtle sunburst effect on that beautiful champagne dial. I think the arrow indices and the elegant Dauphine hands are the perfect shape for this style of watch. There's a printed minute track running around the periphery of the dial. The texture on the second sub-dial is a nice touch by Orient and really elevates the look of the dial in my opinion. I think Orient hit a home run with this dial except for that kind of forced date window at the 3 o'clock position. Even though it has a nice beveled edge to it, it just looks out of place on a dial otherwise this elegant and classy. On the other hand, a date window does make the watch a more convenient everyday kind of watch. As you might expect, there's no lume on the indices or hands as per usual for proper dress watches. I think this is the right call by Orient, no need for lume on watches like this one. Now let's get down to the size and wearability of this watch. I've lined up a couple of my own dress watches here for you. To the left we have a vintage Leijona, which is around 36 millimeters in diameter. We also have a slightly more sporty and larger Seiko SR-PD97, which I will be reviewing later on. I think that both of these watches are the perfect size for a dress watch for a 6.5-inch wrist like mine. Now let's include the Bambino in this comparison. Just look at how huge this watch is compared to the other two. This is my main problem with this otherwise fantastic watch. Here's a quick comparison for you on how the other two watches wear on my wrist before we get to the Orient. It's not that the Orient is uncomfortable or anything. In fact, that 46mm lug-to-lug is quite a comfortable size for my wrist. It's just that the diameter of the dial is so large that it doesn't please my eye. Maybe I'm just not used to larger dialed watches, but it's just not for me. This is my main problem with the Bambino and always has been. If you have a similar preference in watches to mine, I seriously recommend checking out the 36mm Orient Bambino. To its defense, however, it does slide under the cuff somewhat nicely. It's pretty tall for a dress watch at 12.5mm, but I think that the round shape of the crystal really helps the cuff move a little easier. And don't get me wrong, I still think that this dial looks fantastic and I do recommend this watch for people with larger wrists than mine. Now for just a few strap options. It's gonna be a lot less than in my usual reviews because of the 21mm lug width. I don't own a single 21mm strap, but some of my 20mm straps will work just fine. I really like this watch on a grey Perlon strap like this one. It makes for a fantastic summer combination and maybe even makes the watch look a little bit smaller. Really comfy on this strap too. Another really summery alternative is this striped strap from CNS. Wearing it the traditional way does make it look a bit larger though, so maybe only if you have a larger wrist than mine. Next up, two straps from Curele Armia. I'm not sure if I'm pronouncing that correctly, I'm sorry. These were actually sent to me for free, but I'm allowed to say anything I want about them. And there's a lot of crappy straps out there nowadays to be bought, and I have to say honestly that these are one of the better value alternatives on the market. Super comfortable fabrics, robust hardware, and really tasteful designs in my opinion. Check out my affiliate link and discount code below if you're interested in these. I can truly recommend them. These cost around 16 euros and you get 15% off using my discount code NordicWatch15. To summarize, this watch has a lot going for it, but a few big drawbacks which are a deal breaker for me. The 21mm lug width I could live with even though I'd have to get straps especially for this watch. The water resistance is also pretty typical for a dress watch, so can't really complain about that either. The diameter, however, is the big deal breaker for me in this case, and it also is the reason I will be selling this watch, to be honest. It's just too large a dress watch for my small wrist. Comfort-wise, there's no problem, honestly, but I just don't like the way it looks on my wrist. Other than that, I think the design and look of this watch is fantastic, really classy and elegant. The price is also great. $150 is a bargain for this watch. If you have a 7-inch wrist or you just prefer larger watches, you should jump on this right away. And if you do, I'd appreciate it if you use my Amazon links in the description. Every purchased item really makes a difference for my small channel. But that's it for this video. Stay tuned for more reviews on watches like the SRPD 97 I featured today. Check me out on Instagram at Nordic Watch Channel, and please like and subscribe if you found this content useful. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next video. Bye bye.